Hello, and welcome to the CHAMPVA CMS 1500 form completion video. This video is going to focus on the differences for the CMS 1500 form completion. Now, compared to TRICARE, there's only one or two changes on the entire form, with that being in Block 1. Instead of marking TRICARE for CHAMPVA, we are going to mark CHAMPVA. Block 1A is still going to be that sponsor's social security number. And Block 2, 5, 3, and 6 are still going to be related to the patient. Block 4 is going to be that insured's or that sponsor's information. If it happens to be self, then we'll put the patient's information in again. Block 9 will only be filled out if we have additional information. Block 10 we will fill out on every single form. Block 11, we will leave blank. A, we will leave blank. And Block B is where we will put that sponsor's branch of military. Block C, we will leave blank. And Block 11D, we will mark yes or no if there's another health plan. If there is, then we need to make sure that Block 9 is filled out. Blocks 12 and 13 will remain the same. We will type signature on file for both of them. Block 14 will remain the same. We will go ahead and type in the current date of illness. And then remember qualifier 431 if we're doing the illness or injury, qualifier 484 if we are doing last menstrual period. Block 15 will refer to if there is any other date associated with Block 14. And Block 16 we will leave blank. Block 17, if we have a referring provider, we will go ahead and put the abbreviation DN with the referring provider's name in. If we are doing military treatment facility, which is common with both TRICARE and CHAMPVA, we're going to put the abbreviation DD for military treatment facility. We are also going to attach Form 261 or SF513 that can be found from TRICARE or CHAMPVA. Block 17B, we will put in that referring provider's NPI number. So make sure to fill that out. Okay, Block 18, we would put if the patient was hospitalized, we'd put those dates in there. Block 19, we will leave blank. Block 20, we will mark yes or no if an outside laboratory was used. If one was, make sure on the right-hand side of Block 20 that you put the corresponding charges. With Block 21, we are going to put 0 in for our ICD indicator to indicate we are using ICD-10-CM. We're also going to type in the diagnosis codes. So if that patient has multiple diagnoses, so this patient has hypertension, which is I-10, and diabetes type 2, which is E11.9, we're going to put those in the corresponding fields. Block 22 is if we're going to need a resubmission. If we do, we need to put the resubmission code in the left-hand side of Block 22 and put the original reference number for that original claim in the left-hand or the right-hand side. Block 23 was a prior authorization number. With CHAMPVA, there is a large amount of required prior authorization numbers. Block 24A is going to be exactly the same as with TRICARE. We're going to put the date in for when that service was. If it was the same day, we do not need to put in a to date. Okay, place of service would be if it's in the office, 11. If it's in the hospital, 21. And once again, for emergency, we are going to leave blank. We will put the corresponding CPT codes, which can be found on your scenario sheet, in Block 24D. Now that diagnosis pointer is going to be linking 24D with 21. So as you can see here, the reason for that office visit was both the hypertension and that diabetes. The reason we did that EKG was because of that patient's hypertension. Okay, we're still going to put in the associated charges. Remember that dotted line is going to represent your decimal point. You do not need to put it in. And make sure to put your units in for every single one. We're going to leave 24H and I blank. And then we're going to put that NPI number of the physician that worked on the patient, and 24J. The federal tax ID number, we're going to either put their social security number or their EIN, their employer identification number. Most of the time you will be putting that employer identification number. Now, 26, we can put that patient's account number. Punctuation is allowed there. If the facility accepts CHAMPVA, then they are automatically a participating provider and they accept assignment, so we will mark yes. For 28, we will total the amount of charges in 24F. And if the patient paid anything towards that visit, we will go ahead and put that in block 29. Block 30 will remain blank because this is reserved for the NUCC. Block 31, we will go ahead and put in that physician's name and credentials. Remember, in the office, you will either use a stamp, signature, and file, but for all the purposes of the assignments, just go ahead and type in the physician's name and credentials, which can be found on that scenario sheet. If the facility is something other than the billing office, we're going to go ahead and put that information in block 32 with the corresponding NPI for them in block 32A. Otherwise, we are going to put all that the billing information in over under the billing provider, and make sure to spell out everything. We are going to use that 5-digit zip code unless there is a 9, and we will use the hyphen at that point. Also, do not forget that MPI number. Next up is going to be workers' compensation.